Hello my model building chums and welcome back to the Yorkshire Modeller. This week we are on issue 10 of Hachette's Battleship Bismarck. So these are the parts we get with the issue. Next part of the deck, working our way backwards, the breakwater, the barbette, and then some plant on details that go on and around here. What I'll do, I'll get these all moved over to the side and we'll get the first two parts that we need, which is the deck and the barbette. So we've got the two pieces that we need then. The instructions say place the second upper section 10.1 on your work surface. Take the barbette 10.2 and insert it in the opening on the upper deck. The 4 tabs should fit in the recesses as indicated by the arrows. So when it's saying about the tabs, it's kind of like a clip lock type thing on there. So all we do with this is simply clip it into place by the look of things. So first 2, 3, 4. There we go. So that's all in place there, and then it should look like that on the underside. Step 2 is just the main photo shows the barbette in place on the upper deck. The inset shows the 2 parts from underneath with the 4 tabs fitted into the recesses. So it's just making sure that those 4 tabs, 1, 2, 3, 4, all sit in the right place. And next we're moving on to the breakwater. So I'll just bring the pot in. That'll do you. So now we're going to need the front breakwater for this. So this is the kind of triangular piece just here, and I'm just going to turn this light around a wee bit. There we go, that's better. Place the front breakwater upside down in front of the deck, so like that, and then apply super glue to the 4 tabs on the breakwater that are circled. So it's that one and that one on both sides. So as I've done before, drop a super glue on each one. And then, have I done that one? No, there we go. So that's all super glued up. And then fix the breakwater in place so that the tabs fit into the recesses at the front edge of the upper deck section 1. Helpful to use tweezers for this. So I will just grab me trusty tweezers, and then it's these 4 holes. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Press that down into place so that sits in there like that. And next we're needing the sprue with the kind of little square sprue with all these little plant on bits on. So bring in side cutters, and the hand wheel 10.9 is fitted behind the breakwater, so it's in that very first hole just there. Now this one looks quite similar to the ones that are at the back of the first section of the deck that we put in last week before. So just clip these off the sprue. Now here's a tip for you as well. Sometimes it's easier to clip the actual sprue itself so that you can get rid of that bit and then you've got more room to get your little piece off, and then these bits are easier to get to with your cutters because you've not got a whole load of sprue just sat in the way. Those two bits. There we go. So drop a super glue on the end of there, and then straight into there like that. Lovely. Next is the glue the vents 10.6 and 10.7 into the recesses in the front area of the upper deck section as shown. So that is these two pieces on the sprue, that one and that one. So we'll just clip these off. Throw that bit away. Now, so these two bits have got two pegs on the bottom. 1, 2, 1, 2. Just so you can see where we are. I'm just going to zoom this in a little bit for you as well. There we go, that'll do. So these two go in these two holes here and here. So I'm going to take the one that's got a little bit of an arrowhead, so that's 10.7. I'll attach that one in first, and then now luckily on this deck they've got like indents, recesses for the pieces, so you know where each one's going, so it's not going to get too confusing about which way around they go either, so everything fits in like that and it's all nice and flush as well. Then we need the big block at the bottom, which is 10.4. Bin that bit, and that goes in this gap just here with the massive hole. There we go. So that goes in that way around. So I hope you all had a good Easter. It was glorious over here in England, like I say, Whitby. Lovely and hot, sunny. Town was heaving, as it always is in Whitby. So me and my wife just stayed in and watched films all weekend. We did go to see Endgame last night, which I was not prepared for at all, but I'm not going to discuss it, any spoilers or anything like that. If you've not seen it, go and see it. It's absolutely amazing. But I really wasn't prepared for it at all. So the next two pieces are the two little block squarey type pieces. I'm going to try it that way. These two, which are at the very bottom of that same sprue, so we've not changed the sprue. These ones are 10.5, and then these are skylights, these ones. So take the two skylights, check their orientation in the recesses on the deck into which they fit, apply super glue to the undersides of the skylights, and then fix in place on the deck as shown. So these ones have got set spaces to go in. It's just making sure they fit into the right gap. So they've got a tiny little nub right in the middle, and then they've got one with a tiny, tiny, tiny nub at that end there. That tiny little nub goes at the top end. So what I do is get your super glue and put the super glue in the recess. Let it fill the recess up a little bit, and then put the piece in like that. And then that's fitting in nicely. Same with the other one. So that's all of those pieces on and done. There's a little bit of seepage of the super glue on the just on the deck there, but nothing that will be seen once it's all finished and done. So next we bring in the next sprue, which has got the vents in it. So the first part is to take the hatch 10.8 and glue it in place behind the hand wheel on the upper deck section. Now 10.8 is the one that hasn't got any grills on it, so it's kind of just this totally square block. So all of these ones at the bottom there have all got grills in. That one is just like a straight block. So that's the one that we're gluing in first. So we'll get that. And this one goes in the little slot just behind the hand wheel. So just 2 little holes there and there. So that goes into those ones. So get me tweezers. That's in. Just like that. And then the 5 vents themselves are at the very back of the upper deck section. So it's 5 recesses. So there's 7 at the back here, 2 that kind of look like bottles, and then 5 square ones. 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, 1 there. They're the 5 that these ones need to go into. So just clip all these off the sprue. Like that. And the sprue goes in the bin. And then exactly the same with this one. Dab of super glue in each of these little recesses. I'm just going to do these 2 at a time. So what I'm going to do with these as well, I'm going to make sure that all the vents themselves are facing backwards. I don't think it really matters though which way around they go in to the sections, but it's just that little bit of continuity, just so they look like they're all facing the same way. So get rid of a bit of that. Move this forward a bit. Another thing I'm not mentally prepared for yet is Game of Thrones on Monday. I'm not prepared at all. Battle of Winterfell. Just. Whoop, that one came out. This week's episode was brilliant, but it did feel like a filler episode. I know there was a few of them in the last series. It was like the preparations for the battle, which is good. Don't get me wrong, I love Game of Thrones, I always have done. But I think we're all just wanting this battle to come now, and so we can get in and know what's going to happen next. So that's all those bits planted on. All the vents done at the back. All sorted. Now the next part is bringing in the screws, because we're going to screw this onto what we've already done with the upper deck. So we'll bring this over. And then take care not to damage any of the parts you've already fitted. Turn the front upper deck over. And then we're going to need 4 PB screws to do this. So I think you do get 5 with the actual issue itself. So I think they give you an extra one in every issue. I know they did with the D'Agostini did with the Millennium Falcon. When I did that, they kind of give you the extra pieces just in case you lose a screw. Doesn't really help if you lose two, as I found out on that build. Right, so what I'm going to do with this is going to be a little bit tricky, which is why it's good if you've got a magnetic screwdriver, as I mentioned before. So I'm just going to get each screw in to a hole, and then that'll hold it. Excuse me. And then once all these are in, I can get a good grip on the underside. There we go. So they're all in and holding the deck in place. So all I need to do now is get myself a good grip so I know I'm not going to rip any or break any of the pieces that I've just glued on. And then just tighten all these screws up. If you're watching this video before you've built this, I would say, for the risk of damaging the parts, screw everything together first, because if you do slip and you break something, the expletives will be never ending. That one's tight, that one's tight, that one's tight, and that one's tight. Right, this thing is getting huge. So if I just turn that over, coming along nicely. Now this bit is where the gun turret will go, like that. So you can see, I know I've still got the battery pack attached to this, but you can see with this just how it's going to look, starting to come on nicely. And when it's actually on the hull itself, make sure you don't rip any of the cables. There we go. On the hull itself, it's looking good as well. So that's it then for issue 10. Reasonably quick one. It was nice to start extending the decks back a little bit, seeing a little bit more definition and a little bit more of the kind of workings of the ship coming in now, with like the skylights and things like that. Next week we're moving on to another section of the hull, so that'll be quite a quick one. Possibly. We're just moving back with the hull a little bit now, and then we also get a stand that we can put these parts on while we're building them, so the hull we can have, you know, off to one side while we're actually working on like plant on details and decks things, and you know, deck houses a bit later on as we start working up the ship rather than across it. I'm probably going to put that on my DVD cabinet, move my lightsaber and my Harry Potter wand from over that side. I don't know where I'll put them though. I'll have to find somewhere. Just so you can see the hull in the background as I'm working on it and we can see it extending. So that's all next week. If you've got any questions, comments, anything you want to ask, anything you want to mention, feel free to pop it in the comments down below. But until then, we'll see you next week. Happy modelling.